Capitol, the Senate Judiciary Committee gave the thumbs up to the Minnesota Voting Rights Act. The goal, they say, is to protect voters' actions by local communities that would make it harder to vote. John Croman reports.
LBJ signed the landmark Voting Rights Act in 1965, which, among other things, allowed private citizens and groups to file lawsuits alleging racial discrimination in access to voting.
Over the past several decades, hundreds of such lawsuits have made their way through the system, including at least 2 or 3 that went all the way to the Supreme Court, but no court ever challenged the underlying assumption that there was a private right of action until last November.
But in November, the Eighth Circuit Federal Court of Appeals ruled there's no private right of action under the Federal Voting Rights Act, that only the U.S. Attorney General can bring challenges.
Minnesotans no longer have the full protection of the Federal Voting Rights Act.
That's why Senator Bobby Joe Champion brought the Minnesota Voting Rights Act.
This bill will ensure that Minnesota voters once again have the right to challenge discrimination that they experience, because we believe that voting is a part of our democracy.
Thus far, 6 states have passed their own Voting Rights Act. Minnesota is one of 6 other states currently considering doing the same thing. Secretary of State Steve Simon supports the move.
It's just a day in court. Doesn't mean they're going to win. They might not. They're going to win sometimes, they're going to lose sometimes. But everyone under the Voting Rights Act should have a day in court and not depend on a friendly or sympathetic attorney general.
The bill would bar localities from taking actions that make it harder for persons of color to vote, such as closing a polling place. And one remedy would be to add a polling place. That brought objections from Republicans.
If you maximize the number of polling locations, you very well could maximize the vote in one precinct at the expense of everyone else's.
It seems like that, in the name of civil rights, you could manipulate voter turnout pretty easily based on that.
The bill passed the Judiciary Committee on a voice vote and is now headed to the Senate floor. At the Capitol, John Croman, KARE 11 News.